Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you for dropping into this practice with me. My name is Kelsey and today's class is going to be a full body, full length yin yoga class. It's going to be a deep stretch practice, and so I recommend having a bolster for practice. If you don't have a bolster, you could use blocks, you could layer some blankets on top of each other, you could use couch cushions or bed pillows, really just anything that's going to give you a little bit more support and bring the earth up closer to you in certain situations. And we're going to get right into the practice using the bolster in butterfly fish pose. So I'm going to slide the blanket out from underneath me. I always like to practice yin yoga with all of the props at my disposal, just so I can find the most ease in the practice. Every day is different, so it's important to not make assumptions about our body. Bringing the bolster the long ways of the mat right up behind your lower back. Hips stay grounded onto the mat and you recline back, letting your ribs, your shoulders, and your head relax onto the support of the prop. Make sure that your upper body feels supported and comfortable, and then soles of the feet together, knees go away from each other. Right away into our practice. So I like to use the first posture to ground and to begin setting the intention for the practice. And so once you feel settled at your edge, just start to notice the flow of your breath in through the nostrils and out through your nostrils. Notice at some point there might be some resistance in the breath. Maybe there's a limitation to the depth, or maybe the mind gets distracted. And anytime you notice resistance, give yourself 3 breaths to move through it. And then return to the flow. Use the breath to scan through your body, noticing how you're feeling physically. Same as before, if you feel some resistance, some tension in your physical body, give yourself a few breaths, focusing on that tension and resistance to move through it, and then to move on. You can also apply this method to your mind, noticing the flow of thoughts coming and going. And anytime you notice yourself getting really hooked onto a thought, creating a story around an emotion, 3 breaths to let it go and come back to just being in the flow, being in the moment. Take another breath in through your nose. Sigh it out. And get your hands underneath your legs to help close your legs like you're closing a book, soles of your feet to your mat, knees pointing up to the sky. Feel the release in the lower body first. And then roll to whichever side to prop yourself up onto one elbow. Reach behind you and move your bolster out of the way. We're going to use it for the second pose, but first we're going to come down to a flat back, constructive rest. Again, the feet planted, the knees pointing upwards, your back body relaxing into your mat. And then grab your bolster again. We're going to use it under the hips this time. Press into your feet, lift your hips, and slide the bolster underneath your hips. So again, if you're not using a bolster, you'll just slide your pillow or your blocks or anything else that just elevates your pelvis a little bit so that the shoulders and the head can stay grounded. We're in a little bit of an inversion, and we're going to get into the quads a little bit here. So you can keep your right foot grounded and then walk your left foot behind your right ankle. So you're going to be on the outside edge of your left foot, and then let your left knee just drop towards the mat. And it's probably not going to touch the mat. If it does, cool. If not, you can let it hang in space, or if you feel like you want some support there, you can put another block or anything else that gives it some support underneath that knee. Last little add-on here, if you want to, is to pull your right knee in towards your chest. This is definitely going to kick it up a notch. So remember our principles of yin. Find your edge, a point in the posture that feels interesting and sensational, but not overwhelming, not painful. A place where you can breathe easily and then drop into the breath, drop into stillness and silence. And just be here for a little bit of time in the stillness, in the silence. Again, as you're existing here, you may notice resistance. And we're not judging or pushing away that resistance. There's no shame in it. Use your breath to just keep moving. Stay on your path. Maybe you start to consider, what is your path today? What is your intention? What are you flowing towards? Take one more breath wherever you are. Exhale. If you held onto the right leg, let it go, setting your right foot down. And then slowly lift your left knee up and slide your left foot out from behind the right, back into this supported bridge. It might feel nice to extend your legs, maybe even extending the arms, taking a big full body stretch, breathing in. And exhale, Coming back through to that supported bridge, we'll set up for the second side. So this time your left foot will stay grounded. It might be easier to see what my right foot is doing this time. You're going to walk the foot behind the left heel, the left ankle, and then roll to the outside edge of the right foot. Let your right knee drop down, starting to feel that intense stretch in the right quad. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you pull your left knee in towards you. And that does kick it up a notch. And so find your edge, connect with your breath. Any distractions or resistance that comes up, acknowledging it with compassion and returning to your flow, returning to your intention. Begin to deepen your breath. Wherever you are, take one more breath. Slowly letting go of your left leg, set your left foot down if you had pulled the left knee in. Lift right knee up and then slide the right foot out, returning to supported bridge. Once again, it might feel nice to extend both of the legs, take a big full body stretch over the bolster. And then exhale to soften and let go. We'll come off of the prop, bring your arms down, slide your feet in, press into your feet, lift the hips up and move the bolster out of the way. Set your hips down to a flat back, constructive rest again. Notice how you feel. From here, we'll roll over to one side so that we can roll over to the belly. If you need to turn yourself around on your mat so that you can see the video, you can. And we're coming into Sphinx pose in the upper body. Elbows underneath your shoulders, toes and legs reaching back. If this is putting any pinching in your low back, you might walk your elbows forward so it's less deep of a back bend. Or you could widen your feet so that there's a little bit of space between the legs, and this can ease up pressure on the tailbone. And then half frog in the lower body. So right knee is going to bend out to the right. right toes can point out to the side. Your knee is about hip height. And we're really only using the arm bones like a support. We're not pushing the floor away. We're not muscling through this. And so start to sink into the support of the arms. Shoulders might come up towards your neck. Head can be heavy. And breathe. We follow the same path in every pose. Finding the edge. Drop into the flow of your breath. Drop into stillness. Notice what comes up in the stillness. Maybe some resistance, some distraction. And then we come back to the flow. We do this again and again until we reach that one-pointed focus. That concentration. When every cell in our body is doing the same thing, working towards the same goal. Whatever that goal is for you, that's your intention. Take another breath. Slide your right leg back. Fan your elbows out. Stack your hands or your forearms and rest your head down. Give your shoulders a little break. Notice the difference between your right hip and your left. And then we'll set up for the second side. Elbows slide underneath your shoulders. Left knee bends out to the side, half frog, second side. Soften into your arm bones. Remember, you can walk elbows forwards. You can widen the legs if needed. You just want to feel like you can really surrender into gravity here. The focus point of this posture is the lower back, the inside of the left thigh, the groin a little bit. And also loading the shoulders with weight. So a lot of the times we start to push the floor away because that load is uncomfortable. And through the yin practice, we are learning to be with discomfort, to move through it. Again, this idea of moving through resistance, being with things as they are, noticing whenever we can pick up the flow again. Your breath is your greatest tool. Use it here. Deep breaths in. Slow breaths out. Last few breaths on this side. One more breath in. Exhale, fan the elbows out. Rest your head down on the stacked hands. Slide your left leg back. Coming through this restorative crocodile to feel the release. When you're ready, slide your hands under your shoulders, press down, roll up into table, and we'll give the lower body a bit of a break. And if you want to, you can pad your knees with a blanket. I'm going to take that option here just because it's a little bit more comfortable on the hardwood floors. Again, if you're not using a blanket today, it's okay. It's not a requirement. So we're moving into melting heart pose. You're going to keep your thighs perpendicular to the mat. Hips are right over the knees. Bring elbows down right where your hands just were, stacked under the shoulders. And then reach your arms straight forward and bring your forehead down to the mat, melting your heart space to the mat. Big heart opener here. Relax through your low belly. Soften the space between your shoulder blades. Anywhere that you feel resistance, you feel tension, breathe into those spaces. Use the breath to help them release. And last little bit here. Inhale, lift your head. Slide your arms and your hands in underneath you again. Into table. It might feel nice to take a cat pose stretch, rounding your spine, chin towards your throat, pressing the floor away from you. And then come back to neutral. From here, we'll move into our swan pose, getting more into our hips here. Our right knee is going behind the right wrist. You can turn those toes towards the left side of your mat. Walk your left leg back any amount. And then I personally enjoy putting one block underneath my rib cage and one block underneath my head. You can put anything under your body to give you the support that you are looking for. Maybe it's something under your hips or your arms instead. And then once you are at your edge, you have the support that you need to be at your edge. Soften down, get still, reconnect with your breath. And coming up on our last several breaths here, notice if there's anywhere else in your body that you could soften and let go. When you're ready, begin to lift your head. Move with your breath, press into your hands. Walk your back leg in a couple of times so that it's easier to slide your right leg back. And then move in any way that feels good. Maybe it's a child's pose, maybe it's a downward dog, or maybe just taking your hips side to side or in circles. Feel the release through that right hip joint. Really deep external rotation, and also a really big extension through the front of your left hip. So noticing how each side feels. And let's set up for the next side. Take your time, no hurry, move at your own pace. That left knee goes behind the left wrist, toes to the right slightly, and then walking your right leg back. So you may have noticed in this video or in any other video of mine, I never encourage you to try to square off your shin to the front of the mat. If that is where your edge is at, that's great, but if not, there's really no point. And so just find the positioning of your left leg that gets into this outer left glute, deep external rotation in the left hip without causing any pain. When you're ready, maybe you come down to forearms, maybe you add some props in under the hips or the chest or the head.
Letting go of any tension in your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. These are areas of the body that really don't have to do anything right now. And of course, especially softening our hips. This is the target area of the pose, so we want to make sure that we're letting go as much as possible here. Deepen your breath. Take another breath in. And exhale, press down through your hands, slide them under your shoulders. Continue to move with your breath as you reverse your way out of this pose, walking your right leg in, stepping your left knee back. Once again, any movements that feel good, there might be some pops or some clicks, it's normal. Downward dog and child's pose are also good options. I'm going to stick with the hip circles. Now, our next pose, I'm going to give you a few options. You can move your props off to the side, and if you are using your bolster, go ahead and bring the bolster long ways to the top of the mat again. So we're preparing for a pose called saddle, which is not appropriate for everybody's knees. Saddle is a reclined hero, Supta Vajrasana. And so if hero is not working for you, if it's causing pain and it just doesn't feel stable, then I'm going to give you a couple of other options. Please find the posture that feels the most appropriate for you, your health, your well-being. If you're setting up for Vajrasana, turn away from your bolster and widen your heels a comfortable distance apart. I like to take the fleshy part of my calves and move it out to the side as I sit back, and sits bones are onto the mat again. Knees are about in line with your hips, maybe slightly wider if that feels better to you. And in some variations, the toes can point out if that feels okay. So again, it's very intuitive. Just do what feels good to you. If you're using this bolster, you can start to lean back onto the prop. And if you're not taking reclined saddle, then
you can look at the screen and there will be a couple of different variations. So one adaptation of the pose is to do the posture with just one leg bent back and the other leg extended. So maybe you're not putting as much pressure on that left knee. And then I'll let you know when it's time to switch sides if you take this option. And then the last option would be to just extend both of your legs, don't do saddle at all, and instead be in a supported back bend, which is still doing what we want it to do. So no matter what variation you've chosen, know that it doesn't make you any better or any worse than the next person. This practice is more about letting go, going inward, and developing a calm and resilient composure in the face of any resistance, obstacles, challenges that we might face. And so we'll come back to that practice now. Dropping into the flow. Acknowledge obstacles as they arise. And give yourself a few breaths to just move through them with ease, not pushing them away. It's almost like the way that water flows over rocks in a riverbed. Continuing on your path once you feel that the block has been released. If you've chosen to do the posture on only one side, bending back one leg, keeping the opposite leg extended, slowly switch sides. Take another breath in and out. In your own time, slowly make your way out of the pose. If you're in reclined hero like I am, I like to take my hands to the backs of my heels, and then as I press my hands into the heels and dig my elbows into the mat, I can come up a little bit more easily. And then I also like to just come into a tabletop position, swing my legs to one side, and then extend the legs out in front. And this is exactly where we're all going. So if you already had your legs extended, you can stay there. And maybe you sit up onto a bolster or a blanket. We're coming into a caterpillar pose, so just a straight-legged forward bend. If you want to use blocks to frame the legs, you can, bring the earth up closer to you. Soften from the tips of the toes to the tops of the thighs. Sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, lean forward. Maybe the forearms come to the blocks. Let your head be heavy. Big stretch for the entire posterior chain. From the tips of the toes to the top of the head.
And once again here, really not worrying about the depth, just focusing on letting go one breath at a time. Last few breaths here. Next inhale, lift your head, slide your hands onto the props if you're using them, or just maybe onto your legs to give yourself a little bit more leverage as you roll up through your spine, lifting your head over your heart over your hips. Pause at the top, notice the way you feel. And then move any props that you were using out of the way. Scoot off of anything that you were sitting on. And we're coming down to the back for our last couple of postures before we take rest, Shavasana. Laying down, constructive rest pose again. Noticing how your back feels, how your hips feel. Our last postures are twists, reclined twists, and they really could be any reclined twist of your choice. And the version I'm guiding are a couple of tuck twists. Since we did a good bit of back bending today, I find that these are really releasing after I've done back bend. And so you'll pull your knees in towards you, open your right arm out beside you, and let both of your legs drop to the left. They may slide down, and that's okay, but if it's possible to keep the knees hugging in close, try that. I personally find that it brings the twist further up my back and doesn't just locate it in the lower spine. We can really stretch into the the thoracic spine. There we go. And you could bring it into your cervical spine, your neck, by turning your head to the right, if that feels okay. Breathe into your ribs. Begin to let go of any mental work that you may have been doing, preparing a little bit more for Shavasana, this ultimate letting go.
Deepen your breath. Take one more breath in. Exhale, pull the knees in, roll towards your back. If you feel like setting your feet down, stretching out the legs, you can. If you're ready, let's take it right away to the other side. Legs going to the right this time. Move my props out of the way. Reach your left arm out beside you. Breathe into the left side ribs here. Try to let go of as much effort as you can. And this is our last pose before we rest. Two more breaths. Return to your back, take your time, pull the knees in, and then set your feet down. Notice if there's any other way of moving that would feel good to you before we go into Shavasana today. Maybe tick-tocking the knees side to side, or maybe taking another big full body stretch. But eventually you'll set yourself up in the way that's the most comfortable for you. So I like to put a blanket underneath my head and a bolster under my knees. You can use anything at your disposal that just lets you rest a little bit more comfortably. Taking a deep breath in when you arrive in Shavasana, sighing it out. And then allow for your breath to return to a natural rhythm. Relax into the pull of gravity. You'll hear my voice when it's time to come back into this space. Enjoy your rest. Remaining just as you are, begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. Feel the support beneath you. Sense the space around you. Begin to move your body, waking up with small, gentle movements in the fingers, the toes, wrists and ankles. Maybe eventually they become a big full body stretch again, stretching from fingers to toes, breathing in, breathing out, letting it all go. In your own time, pull your legs in, roll over to one side, any side, and slowly pick yourself up, making your way back to a comfortable seated position. As you arrive in your seat, sitting up tall, relax any hard edges in the seat, and notice the impact of your practice on you in your body, in your breath, in your mind, your emotions. And acknowledge any wisdom that came up for you in the form of an intention, a message from your heart. Maybe this is something you want to take with you into the rest of your day. And keep in mind that though obstacles, challenges, resistance, these things are inevitable, you have the power, the ability, the choice to move through them with a gentleness, with an ease, acknowledging them as part of the path, accepting them, and moving on. With this in mind, palms together in front of the heart. Connect to a sense of gratitude for the practice, for this time that you've had on your mat, for everything that fell into place so that you could be here, and for yourself for choosing to be here. With this gratitude in our hearts, we'll close with a chant of Om. Deep breath in. Exhale to chant Om. Thank you all so much for being here and for sharing your yin yoga practice with me today. I hope that it has served you well, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. Please leave me a comment down below letting me know how it went for you, and please leave me any suggestions or wishes that you have. I release new classes every single Sunday, so I like to hear what you're looking for in your practice, and I hope that you will join me here on the mat at a future date. Thank you. Namaste.